Good morning and welcome back to BeefLink TV, your daily dose of industry information. Today, Jamie from our Policy and Compliance team joins us to talk about the recent developments in carbon markets following the EU-UK summit in May. So firstly, thank you so much for joining us, Jamie. How are you doing?
Thank you for having me. Very well, thank you.
Good. So firstly, my first question is, what is an emissions trading system and what is its purpose?
Yep, so an emissions trading system is a market-based policy tool designed to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. So they're normally based on a cap and trade approach, so that a cap will be placed on emissions, which is gradually reduced over time. And there's a trade element of it as well. So sectors will get or participants in the sector will get a emissions trading allowance. They've given that, or they have to purchase them, and they can then trade those on a secondary market. So the idea is that if they emit less than they're allowed to, they can then trade the markets for financial advantage, or if they emit more than they need to actually buy some allowances from other people who haven't emitted as much, so in order not to get financial penalties. So it's a market tool designed to decarbonise.
So just to go back a step, what happened to carbon markets when the UK left the European Union?
Yeah, so obviously when we were part of the European Union, we were part of the EU ETS. When we left, we're no longer aligned with that, so we created our own UK ETS. Furthermore, the European Union created this thing called the CBAM, the Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism, and that was designed to complement the EU ETS and put a price on carbon import to stop climate leakage, is when high energy production is taken to another country which has less stringent climate policies and then imported into that country. So essentially we would have to pay charges from 2026 into the EU CBAM as it stands now. Basically what happened, we were no longer aligned with the EU carbon markets, which creates a compliance issue and also potential charges.
So more recently, on the 19th of May, the UK and the EU held a summit, and one of the topics that was discussed was carbon markets. So can you share with us what was agreed from that summit?
Yep, so the European Union and the UK have agreed to work towards linking their respective ETS systems. This will probably involve a mutual recognition of allowances and also potential exemption from CBAM for the UK when imported into the European Union. That can involve some quite significant charges. So upper estimates could actually state that exporters in 2026 into the European Union hit by CBAM could cost up to £800 million. That is the higher end of the estimates, but it's a significant sum of money. So what would happen is essentially we would be aligned with that again.
So what are the potential effects of linking these two systems together?
Yeah, so access again to the European Union ETS would give us access to the largest carbon market in the world. With the UK carbon market, the UK ETS, it's a lot smaller, and that means the price can be a lot more volatile. There's less liquidity in it, which can actually prevent investment. Whilst access to the largest carbon market in the world could obviously, the compliance issues would be resolved, and also maybe the cost of investment would be reduced. So it could drive decarbonisation. It must be stressed though that this at the moment is not an agreement of a legal agreement as such. It's more like a political framework of what's moving forward.
Sure.
So there's lots more to come.
That's great. Thank you very much for joining us, Jamie. Please stay tuned for future episodes on this topic. Jamie and I will be discussing this in more detail. That's all for today's episode of BeefLink TV, your daily dose of industry information.